When we first meet Cho Sang-woo, player 218 in Squid Game, he seems like the perfect childhood friend. Calm, intelligent, reliable, someone you could trust with your life. Gi-hun's childhood memories of Sang-woo paint a picture of loyalty and camaraderie, a stark contrast to what we eventually see on the game floor. But as the deadly competition unfolds, Sang-woo's carefully constructed mask begins to crack, revealing a man who is willing to do whatever it takes to survive. The story of Sang-woo is one of intelligence, desperation, and moral ambiguity, a cautionary tale about what happens when survival collides with ethics. Sang-woo's life before the games is essential to understanding his actions. As a young boy, he was bright, ambitious, and clearly destined for success. By the time he becomes an adult, he has achieved remarkable professional status as an investment banker. Outwardly, he is a man who has it all: wealth, intelligence, and respect. But beneath that polished exterior lies a man under immense pressure. His family faces financial ruin, and the weight of societal expectations, success, responsibility, and the maintenance of an image bear down on him. Sang-woo's participation in the Squid Game is not purely for escaping debt. It is a desperate attempt to reclaim control over a life that has spiraled beyond his grasp. In many ways, he is a tragic figure even before the first game begins. He represents the internalized cruelty of meritocracy, a man who outwardly succeeded by society's standards, but is inwardly collapsing under the weight of expectation, shame, and moral compromise. Unlike characters who are either purely heroic or purely villainous, Sang-woo operates in a gray space that makes him deeply human and tragically relatable. He starts as Gi-hun's childhood friend and a prestigious university graduate, someone who, by all appearances, made it out of poverty. But we quickly learn that his success was a facade, and now trapped in debt and disgrace, he enters the games not just to survive, but to reclaim his self-worth. What makes Sang-woo compelling is how logically and heartbreakingly he unravels. At first, he tries to maintain control, to lead and protect others, especially Gi-hun and but as the games grow more brutal, his choices become colder, more calculated. His betrayal of Ali in the marble game is one of the most devastating moments in the series, not because it's senseless, but because it's chillingly rational. He's not a cartoon villain. He's someone who believes that morality is a luxury he can no longer afford. That belief reflects the harsh reality Hwang Dong-hyuk wanted to critique. In a hyper-competitive society, even good people can be driven to do terrible things if the system rewards it. Yet Sang-woo is not a one-dimensional villain. Beneath the cold, calculating exterior lies vulnerability. In private moments, we see a man haunted by guilt, fear, and shame. His decisions weigh heavily on him, and there is a profound sadness in the realization that every choice he makes to survive costs him a part of his humanity. When he kills or betrays others, it is never with joy or malice. It is with a desperate recognition that he has no other options. Sang-woo embodies the harsh truth that intelligence and strategy cannot shield one from the moral consequences of their actions. The choices Sang-woo makes throughout the games reflect a broader commentary on society and human nature. His actions are driven not only by personal survival, but by the societal pressures imposed upon him long before the games began. In many ways, he is a product of a hyper-competitive, success-driven culture. His desperation to provide for his family, maintain appearances, and secure a future is something that resonates outside the fictional world of Squid Game. Sang-woo's story raises uncomfortable questions. How far would we go to protect our loved ones? How much of our morality is flexible when survival is at stake? Sang-woo is also an emotional mirror for Gi-hun. While Gi-hun clings to empathy as the one thing that gives life meaning, Sang-woo peels it away layer by layer, convincing himself that every betrayal is necessary for survival. This is why their rivalry feels so powerful, because it isn't just about who wins the games, but about what kind of person emerges from them. Gi-hun insists that compassion and fairness still matter, even in a world designed to erase them. Sang-woo, however, sees those values as weaknesses, obstacles that will only get you killed. When the two finally clash in the last round, it is more than a fight for the prize. It is an ideological battle between two worldviews: empathy versus self-preservation, humanity versus ruthless logic. And yet, Sang-woo's tragic end complicates that contrast. In the very moment when Gi-hun offers mercy, Sang-woo reveals that he no longer has the strength to live with what he has done. By ending his own life, he spares Gi-hun from becoming like him and ensures the prize will not be wasted. That final act is not the move of a monster, but of a man broken by the weight of his own choices, a man who in his last breath allows a flicker of humanity to resurface. In this way, Sang-woo remains Gi-hun's opposite until the very end, yet he also affirms Gi-hun's belief that empathy, even when buried, can never be entirely erased. I found Sang-woo's last words particularly poignant, carrying equal parts sadness and truth, yet I was surprised that more people didn't discuss them. It struck me as one of the most beautifully written and heartbreakingly delivered lines in the entire series. When we were kids, we would play just like this and our moms would call us in for dinner, but no one calls us anymore. The contrast here is devastating. As children, Gi-hun and Sang-woo lived in a world where play was innocent, where the day always ended with the warmth of home and the certainty that someone was waiting for them. Those moments carried hope, joy, and the comfort of belonging. But adulthood has stripped that away. Instead of dreams, they live under crushing debts, broken relationships, and the relentless disappointment of failing to live up to expectations. For Sang-woo, this hits especially hard. Once the pride of his neighborhood, the success story everyone admired, he is now a man consumed by shame, unable to even face his own mother after the crimes and failures that brought him into the game. That line also captures something universal: the loneliness of adult life. As kids, we take for granted that someone is always watching over us, calling us back, reminding us we're cared for. But as adults, that safety net disappears. No one calls us in for dinner anymore, because we're the ones who are supposed to carry the weight now, often silently, often alone. Sang-woo's words cut through the brutal competition to reveal that at its core, this story isn't just about life and death, but about the unbearable isolation that comes when you feel you've lost your place in the world. For me, this is why Sang-woo's character is the most meaningful. He embodies the tragedy of someone who once had everything: promise, intelligence, opportunity, but was crushed under the impossible pressures of society and family. His last words are not just a farewell to Gi-hun, but a lament for the innocence they both lost, and a reminder that the cruelest part of growing up isn't just responsibility, it's loneliness. In short, Sang-woo is a well-written character because he's not simply a villain. He's a complex, layered portrait of how good intentions can be corroded by desperation, shame, and a system that values winning over decency. His arc forces the audience to ask, what would I do if I were in his place? And that moral discomfort is exactly what makes him unforgettable. With Cho Sang-woo, Hwang Dong-hyuk wanted to transmit a powerful critique of how society's obsession with success and meritocracy can warp morality and crush the human spirit. Ultimately, Hwang wanted to communicate the tragic cost of a world that values winning above humanity. That sometimes the biggest monsters aren't born from cruelty, but from the unbearable pressure to succeed at all costs. Sang-woo's story is a cautionary tale about how systems that prioritize individual achievement over collective care can lead to profound moral decay. In conclusion, Cho Sang-woo is one of Squid Game's most complex and morally nuanced characters. He is intelligent, strategic, and driven, yet haunted by desperation and moral ambiguity. His actions challenge the audience to consider uncomfortable questions about survival, ethics, and the human condition. Sang-woo is not a villain in the conventional sense. He is a tragic figure shaped by societal pressures, personal ambition, and the brutal reality of the games. He serves as both a cautionary tale and a mirror, reflecting the difficult choices we might all face when morality and survival collide. By studying Sang-woo, we gain insight not only into the mechanics of the games, but also into the fragile, often conflicted nature of humanity itself. Sang-woo reminds us that intelligence and ambition alone do not define a person. True strength lies not only in strategy, but in the moral choices we make under pressure. And in a world as unforgiving as Squid Game, sometimes survival comes at the steepest possible price: the loss of one's humanity.